Right, hi lads and lasses, and welcome to July's edition of A Chuck and a Chat. Yes! Boom! Right, in this month's edition of A Chuck and a Chat, it's going to be a few sections as there usually is. Section number one this month is going to be how our body changes and our mind changes over the years, and how important it is to have a solid, simple, mechanical throw to stand the test of time. Right, here we are over in section one, and what we're going to talk about is the way our bodies change over a period of time. Now this all fits in with the Dynamite Dave ethos about playing darts and the way you can maintain your level of dart play right throughout your darting life. So some of us start when we're kids, and obviously when you're a kid you're going to throw however you're going to throw anyway, because let's face it, when we're young, especially when we're teenagers, we know everything, don't we? And everybody else is stupid. But as you start to get older and you start to realise that life doesn't work like that, and there is always somebody who knows more than what you do, who can teach you something. And that's another thing that leads me off on a slight bit of a tangent again about people saying that you can't learn a new way of throwing darts, you've got to throw darts the way that you've always thrown them, which obviously if you've been around this channel for a while and you've been around me for a while, you'll understand that that just doesn't calculate in any way, shape or form. That's like saying if you write a certain way, say you write right-handed and you're right-handed and everything, and you have damage to your right hand, you can never learn how to write with your left hand. Of course you can. Of course you can. Just like you can learn to throw darts differently than the way that you throw them now. There is a little bit of subjectiveness in throwing darts. Some people naturally lean towards one way, some people naturally lean towards the other, but there are some fundamental ways that you can make throwing your darts more consistent, and especially over a long period of time. As I've mentioned on many an occasion, the Dynamite Dave way wasn't thought up in 5 minutes. It wasn't just a light bulb moment. It was something that was studied and something that was developed with a lot of research and development, a lot of time put into it, a lot of effort put into it over the period of 2.5 years. And that was where I got to the point where I was actually happy with the way that I played darts. And then there was a period before the two lads in the pub, another thing if you've heard the Dynamite Dave story, the two lads in the pub that taught me into making my first ever video. Right, here we are, just a little bit of an interjection into the video here that I wanted to do. I'm going to give a couple of little, well, big shout outs to people. The first one is Ray Clark. Ray Clark, great mate of mine now. We met at a disabled darts competition before the lockdown, so late last year. We were there, just met, just sat down, started talking to him. We ended up talking for a couple of hours. It was like we've been mates for years and years and years. We just absolutely clicked. So I want to give a massive shout out to Ray. He was the first one straight in there to buy one of the new 3rd generation shirts. So he's bought a shirt, he's bought some mugs off me, he's had a set of darts off me. He's just an absolute star. He supports me, he loves the channel, he loves what we do. He came here, I give him a tour around the studio and I told him how I make the videos and all that sort of stuff. So I think him and his wife will be really chuffed with this. So it's a big shout out this to Ray Clark and his good lady. Number 2 is Stuart the Wee Man McNally on Twitter. He supports us, he watches me call it, he watches all the videos and what have you, and he's just a really nice chap, really sound fella. And third and final, but definitely not least, is what I want to give a massive shout out to, is Neil the Vapor Mill. Now that's his darts name, that is the Vapor Mill. Now Neil had a coaching video, he's already a very good average player. But what he wanted to do was he wanted to get to that next level. So what I suggested he do was alter to the Dynamite Dave way, give it a go and see what happens. 2 weeks in, he saw a massive drop in his accuracy to start off with, because obviously he was changing from one style to another. And as I said to him, it's something you've got to persevere at. You can't change something and expect it to happen overnight. It just doesn't work that way. You persevere at it, and that's when it starts to click and it all starts to come together and the differences are made. Like I said, that was a couple of weeks ago. He's just sent me a nice email today. Absolutely fantastic. I'll put a picture of it up here. And what I've done for you, Neil, in the last like 10 minutes, I've just had a bit of a 10-minute warm-up session. And I've done exactly what you've done. The signature Dynamite Dave finish, which is 3 treble tops for 120. Do that loads and loads. And you've just done that. You've come out the other side and you're starting to see your averages, your accuracy and everything is all starting to come together. And that's fantastic. So whatever you do, stick to it. And if you come out the other side of that in 2 weeks, mate, you've got some massive potential. Right, so keep it coming. As you said to me, you're going to send me a couple of videos in a few weeks so as I can see how you're getting on. And that's fantastic, that. So thanks very much, and let's get on with the video. So let's go do that right now. But the longevity of the throw. As we get older, your body changes, and also your mind. The way that you think about things and the way that you do things changes totally over a period of time. Let's say 20 years. Let's just set that as a benchmark. So how you play darts when you're 20 has no resemblance to how you play darts when you're 40, because your body's changed, your state of mind has changed, you've got different things going on in your life. When you're 20, you're full of vigour and optimism, just out of that period of being a teenager where you think you know best. And this is where a lot of the resistance comes from when I'm teaching people how to throw darts in a mechanical way. Most of the resistance comes from the younger people. Normally when you get into your 40s, you're actually prepared more to listen to someone else and have that knowledge imparted on you, and actually have the objectiveness to think, yes, this could be right, and I'm going to have a go at this, and I'm really going to persevere at it. I coach a lot of people over a lot of age brackets, and you tend to find that the people that are 40 plus are a lot more willing to change and a lot more resigned to the fact that there may be a better way. The importance of this can just be demonstrated quite easily in the different dart players that you've seen on the telly over the years. Now you've got the difference between like John Henderson, who is having a little bit of a resurgence, but you see him now, here he is, there he's gone. He'll pop up every now and again in a tournament. Same with, unfortunately, Dave Chisnell, who has a very weird throw, or he's starting to change that a lot, but over the last 5 to 10 years he's had a very snatchy throw. Fantastic 180 hitter, great when he's on form, but as I've said, as his body's changing, he's finding it harder and harder and harder to maintain that throw. And then what we'll do is we go on from Dave Chisnell, Henderson, Justin Pipe, all these people that have got like not an odd throw, but their own throw, shall we say, and they come and go. And then you've got the others that are absolutely rock solid. So you've got, even though he doesn't stand in a Dynamite Dave way, which don't matter, it's like I say, it's subjective, it's entirely up to yourself whether you think that's correct or not. But you've got Gary Anderson, been around for decades, and his throw now is literally the same as it was 15 years ago, 10-15 years ago. Raymond van Barneveld, right the way throughout his career, his throw changed very, very minimally. The best dart player that ever walked the face of this earth, or ever will walk the face of this earth, Phil Taylor. Same throw all the way throughout his career. A mechanical throw, alright, he came from underneath his eye, but it was still very mechanical, very methodical. And then what we do is we come on to the more modern players. Well, I say modern players, he's not modern player, he's been around for donkey's years, but he's changed his ways from being an also-ran to being one of the top players in the world, and that's Peter Wright. And that was because he changed everything. He went to a mechanical throw, and now he's probably the epitome of the mechanical throw, because who else do you know can go and pick a set of darts up, start a match and change darts twice during a match and still be in 180s after 180s? And they're not just different darts, they're different weights, different flight setups, different thingy shaft setups. He just picks a dart up, and because he's got a mechanical throw, he can throw every and each different set of darts. So I think if I was going to use an example as somebody who's, alright, it's not the Dynamite Dave throw, it's not the Dynamite Dave way, but it's very close. It's a very mechanical throw, it's very methodical, very well thought through. Gary Anderson, if you watch him when he comes down for the different numbers, he doesn't change his throw, all he changes is his body position very slightly. Same with Michael Van Gerwen, when he throws, when he's going for different sections of the board, the throw remains exactly the same, and he just moves his body position so that dart goes to where he wants it to go. And they're all elements of the Dynamite Dave way. Keeping the throw the same, all you're altering is a little bit of arm speed and a little bit of position. So it makes it more consistent and more repeatable. The more repeatable the throw is, the more effective it's going to be. It's as simple as that. The more simple it is, the more repetitive it is, the more accurate it is, the more consistent it is, the better the throw it is. And yes, you can change to that throw. Anybody can. I've now done hundreds of coaching videos. I've done hundreds of coaching sessions. Some of my videos now have 40,000 plus views on them. So there's something in it, and it's something that's definitely worth thinking about and definitely worth having a go at. As I say in all my coaching videos and a lot of the videos that I actually put out on YouTube, you'll only ever get out of this game what you're prepared to put in. So if you're prepared to stick to it, persevere, keep going at it till it clicks. And I had one chap, it took him, I'd say, a good 3 months for it to actually click properly and become his throw, because his body kept trying to take him back. And this is it about your body. If you get into a good mechanical basic throw early on in your life, that'll stay with you. If you spend 20 years throwing in an odd way, it's going to be more difficult to change that. But when you do change it, it'll make a massive, massive difference to the way that you play darts. So anyway, that's this section about darts through the ages, I suppose. Right, so now what we'll do is we'll go on into section 2, which is the BVD darts section. Yeah? Oh yeah, that'll do us. Right, hi lads and lads. Right, here we are over in the BVD section. Fucking creaky floorboards. Right, so here we are over in the BVD section. This month's BVD section, what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at 2 sets of darts. One of them, which are these, which are the BVD Steadies, and I'm going to throw them for you shortly. Cracking dart, these, very similar to the Veracity, with a different grip pattern on them and a better grip pattern. It's slightly wider, so it's a bit more of an aggressive grip. So whereas the Veracities were a 3 to 4 grip, I would say that these personally are a 4 to 5 grip. They really have got a bit of a monster grip on them. They're very similar to level of a shot dart, so the shot dart grips which are on the Trappers and the Dracars, and these are called the BVD Steadies. Right, so that's the BVD Steadies, and what we're going to do is we're going to throw them for you shortly. The other ones, what I'm going to do is I'm going to project some photographs of them up here because they're a special edition dart. These are the top of the range BVD Scarcity darts, and what a dart they are. I was bowled over, to be honest with you, with the Veracities when they first came, and I could not believe the quality of the dart for the price that he's selling them at. Now this one, the Scarcity, is a more top of the range dart, which is absolutely bang on for something like this. This is a top of the range dart with some fantastic milling and cutting in the dart. It really is top of the range. It's as good, if not better, than anything that Target can produce, anything that Shot can produce, anything that Windmill can produce. As you probably understand, I see, I feel, I touch, I throw lots and lots of different darts, and these are some of the best darts I've ever thrown. They are really, really good, and I'm not saying that to blow smoke up anybody. It's absolutely the truth. Fantastic dart. Limited edition. There's only going to be 48 of these made. I'm privileged enough to have a set of these. So if you're a darts collector or you just fancy a set of these new scarcity darts, get yourself a set. Well worth it, worth every penny of them. Right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to throw those darts for you, the scarcities for you, we're going to throw the steadies for you. Steadies are a cracking dart. The scarcities are just one step beyond anything that I've chucked up to now. The better, I'd say, than I'd say they're on a par with the Shot. I can't say that they're better than the Shot darts, because the Shot darts, I absolutely love them and they're so quirky, and but they work. These BVDs, beautiful darts. Get yourself a set, you won't regret it. Right, so section 3 of A Chuck and a Chat this month is going to be a little bit of a review and a little bit of a talk about the 180, which is exclusively available through BVD Darts. Is the Illumina from 180, and it's the new dartboard lighting system. Little bit of a move away from the halo type lights, which have been all the rage probably for the last 3 to 4 years. Starting off with the Target Corona and going through all the different types. 180s have done them, Bulls have done them, everybody's done them. Now this is a little bit of a departure from that and some new thinking. Absolutely amazed at how it works, I really, really am. So let's go over there and have a look at that right now. Right, hi lads and lasses, and welcome to Dynamite Dave's Reviews. What we're going to do today is we're going to do a little bit of a review on something that's new to the market. It's been around probably now for a month or so, not much more than that. Not really seen these on anywhere other than BVD Darts, which is Brian Van Doren. He has a shop in Ireland, aims to be one of the biggest, or if not the biggest, dart supplier in Ireland. He's great. Brian has got the exclusive rights to sell these for the first few months, so the only place you're going to be able to get hold of one is Brian Van Doren. So BVD Darts, get in touch with them. So any inquiries about the light, you need to direct towards BVD Darts. So if you go to bvd.co.uk, I'm sure Brian will get straight back to you with a price for them. Right, so what we're going to do now is take our first look at this new lighting system. And it's sort of like blown my mind, because it just doesn't calculate, and you'll understand why when I show it you. So the lighting system, you can see, which is above my head here, it's like a T-bar. It's got a magnet that sits on the outside ring of your board, so you can take it on and off, no problem. It's not actually physically attached to the wall in any way, shape or form, or the board. It's not like the Solar Flare, which was the unicorn one that I had, the smaller one, where you can just slide it off the board, unplug it from the wall, stick it underneath your arm and walk away with it. It's more like the Corona. It's more of a semi-permanent thing. It's easy enough to do. You don't have to do anything when you're spinning the board. All you've got to do is hold on to the light, turn the board to wherever you're turning it to, and then just put your thing back on. Dead simple. What the most impressive thing about this is the way that it actually illuminates the board. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn the main light off and I'm going to illuminate the board with it. And I can't believe me how a straight light like that doesn't give any shadows, but it doesn't. It's just absolutely cutting edge technology. So you get a rocker switch, and look at that. Now that, for me, is a serious light. Let's zoom in so you can have a look at the board. And as you can see, if I put my finger on there, there's no shadows. The only shadow you're getting on the board is from the actual window itself over there, which is nothing we can do about, as you can see. If I put my hand up here, you'll be able to see. but the shadow itself is coming from the window, not from the actual light. So when you've got a dart in there, there's no shadow on it. Here, shall we say, there's no shadow. Right, so what we'll do now is we'll set the camera up so you can look over my shoulder, and it'll give you an idea of what it's like actually throwing the darts at the board with this light on. Oh. Lovely darts to throw these scarcities. Really nice. Oh. Oh. Cabbage the flight there. Oh! 125. $421. Well, great last one's there to finish with, a nice grouping. Right, so I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Hope it's been informative for you and entertaining. Don't forget, same as I say every video I do now, don't forget £2 down here, PayPal me. The opportunity to win loads of great prizes. It's drawn on the 15th of every month. And thanks for watching Darts Coaching with Dynamite Dave. Don't forget, £2 down here, PayPal me, £10 or more, doubles your chances. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, you'll only ever get out of this game what you're prepared to put in. And always, 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 toe to the hockey.